Hi guys, so if you followed my channel for a while, you know how much I love orcs. And I've made quite a few little orc dioramas and orc bits and pieces in the past. And obviously one thing that's always been lacking is DAKKA, or in other words, weapons. Pew pew pew! So the awesome thing about having a 3D printer is obviously I can print off as many pew pew pews as I need. And that's exactly what I've done here. Although I know everyone's still going to be shouting out, there still isn't enough DAKKA. And you're right, with orcs there never is. But I think this is a pretty good start. And maybe in the future I might add some more weapons to this little guy. So obviously to start this build we go back to my little printer, and in this case I had two running. I had both the PLA one from Anycubic Viper and my resin one. But as you can see the resin one is from Elegoo Mars. But don't worry, those lovely guys at Anycubic are sending me out a resin printer to go along with the PLA one I've got. So cheers Anycubic. The reason for both printers is because the resin ones are still better for doing miniatures. And the PLA one's obviously great for larger builds and terrain. So here's my printed Squig, and I think he's come out really well. Really pleased with the detail. And again, the great joy about having a 3D printer, you can make these whatever size you want. So rather than a little diddy one, I've gone for, well, a fairly mahoosive one. Just because he needs to be fairly big to be able to take all those weapons I'm going to give him later. While I'm taking off the supports and cleaning up this little chap, I just want to say a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons for helping support the channel. As without their help, I'm not sure I can continue to keep buying all the bits and pieces I need, as obviously the stuff does mount up and get expensive. So cheers guys for every one of you for helping support the channel, especially as quite a few of you now have been here for the past year, which is awesome. So if you want to help out support the channel and get some behind the scenes access to photos, videos and chats and stuff, then please consider becoming a patron. You can become a patron for just £2 a month, and as I say, it really does help me out a lot, as I can continue to buy paints and bits and pieces needed to start making stuff. Companies can also become patrons to help support the channel. I have my first two, which is Artiscapade, and you'll see me mention them later, as I'm using the awesome brushes they've been sending me, as well as Anycubic who are helping support the channel as well. Okay, so he's all cleaned and ready to go, and here's a little base ready for him to sit on. So rather than using glue to support this guy, as he is going to take a little bit of weight, I like to now use the UV resin, as I find this awesome at sticking things together, and obviously it's very instant when you use the UV light. And there we go, he's now ready to take his driver and all those lovely weapons I'm going to be attaching to him. And again, these have all been 3D printed, and the great thing here is I can make as many as I need and whatever size I need. Now it's just a case of working out how to get all these pieces on him so it doesn't look too bad or overbalanced or whatever. So yeah, this is obviously the fun bit, putting the bits up to him, seeing where they go, seeing how they look. And yeah, once I'm happy with that, we'll get this all stuck down. As well as using the UV to glue pieces, I am obviously still using super glue as well, just because sometimes the UV stuff does obviously look a bit thick and gloopy, whereas obviously the super glue, obviously you can't see as much. Now everything's stuck down, it's one of the fun part of painting. And believe it or not guys, I actually enjoyed painting this one, but we'll get into that in a second. So obviously the first thing I want to do is glue him down to a nice sort of cork base, just as something I can hold. So now he's all primed in white and ready to go. And for the first time ever, I'm going to have a go using some oil paints. Again, I like trying new things, guys. It's the best way to learn and to find out what we like, what we enjoy, and what we're good at. So yeah, I've been watching quite a few videos on oil painting miniatures. And basically it looks like fun. So that's why I thought I'd have a go at doing that myself. So I'm going to use the paint brushes that were sent to me by Artiscapade. There's a link in the description guys, and for a limited time you can get 30% off if you click on the link down below. Obviously these brushes are meant for acrylics and watercolours, so I'm not too sure how well they're going to do here, but hey ho, I'm going to give it a go. So I've got my paint palette ready and my white spirit just to dilute the paints down with. So like always, I've got all the gear but no idea, but again, best way to learn, get the stuff and give it a go. So from the videos that I've seen so far, the best thing that I really like about using the oil paints is the fact that they can be used as washes. As I have mentioned in the past few videos, buying washes are really expensive, or the contrast paints from Citadel. So I really wanted to try and find a new way of doing sort of washes and blends and shading, but in a different sort of way and a cheaper way basically. So that's why I'm starting off painting this black that's obviously been heavily diluted with the white spirit, so it's nice and thin, applies really easily, it'll go all over, and then once everything is covered, it's simply a case of going over with a nice little sponge. I think these are these sort of like the makeup remover sponges, so these are nice and cheap, again from Amazon guys, link in the description. And it's just a case of dabbing this all over to remove any excess sort of paint. So it leaves all the highlights in like low areas and the cracks. And yeah, it just basically gives it a nice sort of, almost like another undercoat. So the other great thing I've seen about people using this stuff is you don't have to be too neat, too precise. And yeah, they do seem to be having a lot of fun with it. The only downside is it is quite messy. As obviously the oil paint does take a lot longer to dry. So while handling this figure, you are going to get paint all over you basically. But again, I don't mind that because I really want to do a sort of a fun sort of painting technique that obviously gives good results, but one that I thoroughly enjoy. And yeah, I must admit, obviously as you can see so far, I'm having fun doing this, and throughout the whole entire painting of this figure, yeah, I loved every minute of it and had fun. So I probably left him for about a good 6 hours, and the paint is still, well, it's still not fully dry, but reasonably dry. Although I must admit, I quite like the look of him as he is. It's almost like he's been painted black and white, and then it's obviously just a case of going over with the colours that I want. But again, because the black underneath is still a little bit wet, the new colours that go on kind of merge in with the ones below. So the thing that I really like about the oil paints is the colours aren't sort of even or consistent. They do have a good variety of different sort of like subtle shades between dark and light in whatever you're painting, which is an effect that I really like. The other thing I really like about this is when you do use the sponge to dab off some of the paint, it instantly takes away any sort of brush strokes that may have been there. And again, it just means you can get subtle different shades or brightness or darkness in each of the paints, which again I think is really amazing, especially as this is my first time using this. So I'm pleased with the results. I had fun doing it. Yeah, I got messy, but that's not much of a downside. And this is definitely, I think, something that I'm going to be trying to work on even more. So I am watching out for a lot more videos and tutorials on obviously oil painting miniatures. Yeah, guys, if you haven't done it already, go and check it out, because honestly, some of the results that I've seen are really amazing and done really, really quickly. And as I say, the other good thing is these oil paints were relatively cheap. There's a whole big variety of them, and they are so easy to mix in with each other to obviously make new colours. As I am now going to be doing more and more 3D printed parts, guys, let me know what you'd like to see me make. Again, it's all going to be the sort of miniature stuff, Warhammer, tabletop gaming, Dungeons and Dragons, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, let me know if there's anything in particular you want to see me sort of make or combine a variety of things together. If you are a company or an individual that designs 3D models or miniatures or terrain, by all means get in contact with me, guys, and we'll be able to see if we do some sort of collaboration. As I say, at the moment I'm only sort of really getting things from Thingiverse, so it would be nice to sort of broaden my horizons and my scope. And if I can help anyone out who's just making some sort of 3D models, yeah, I'll happily print them out, paint them up, and display them on my channel. So I really have enjoyed painting this chap. I say the only downside I can see with using the oils is it is a little bit messy. But to be honest, I think that's kind of made more of the fun with this, it being messy, because it doesn't have to be too neat. So the last thing to do is obviously to put the checkered flag on the end of these missiles. And I always find the easiest and best way for me to do this is with a fine sort of marker pen. Just because my painting skills, well, not painting skills, but my steady hand, eye coordination, all that kind of thing, is a little bit tricky when it comes to doing fine lines. So yeah, definitely doing a marker pen, it's a lot easier to go round this, round the end of these cones, mark out the little squares, and then yeah, colour them in. But again, I'm going to use the marker pen to sort of fill them in, just because again, it makes it a lot easier when it is so small and delicate. So yeah, this is sort of the final part of this little build, and yeah, we'll get onto the finished shots any second now. Thanks for sticking around to the end, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I would really appreciate it if you can hit that thumbs up button and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this video, what you might want to see in the future, or just say hi. I'll say hi back. And if you are new, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, as I do produce videos every week. And if you'd like to support the channel, there is a link now on the screen that you can click on to become a patron, as well as clicking on any of the links down below, as I am affiliates with Amazon and a few other people. Okay guys, that's it. Bye for now.